Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Robbie Reynold. If Mother Nature has taught us anything over the past several years, it's to be ready for the unexpected. Sheriff says that there's a scam involving a caller asking for money to resolve a civil matter while using a number that shows up on caller ID that looks like it's actually coming from the sheriff's office. Of course, the next part in this whole process is going to be the investigation into what actually happened during this car crash. And for now, we have Connor McGill, who is live at the scene of the crash. Connor, tell us about what happened here. Walk us through this entire process. So, you know, the rural Metro Fire Chief drove by me like 5 minutes ago, and I had a good conversation with him. He's going to talk to the fire marshal. Hopefully soon, he says, try to get an update on the investigation. They still don't know what caused these flames. But coming from NASA, none of that is looking very good right there. On Monday, the storm ripped doors, windows, roofs off homes across the southeastern Caribbean. It's actually going pretty far. I mean, here's Vail Academy High School right there, and then you go over to this region, you're already getting into Rita Ranch. So that whole span is going to be a shelter-in-place area. Things that we take for granted, walking, eyesight, even communication, are not available to 5-year-old Harper. But there's technology that could give her a much better life. They told me they had to because of a growing demand amongst older adults, particularly ones who are struggling with this summer heat. Every time I watch Shaun White, I can't believe how high he gets up on those jumps. It's really amazing. It must have been amazing for you to watch him compete as well. The Beijing Winter Olympics are just 10 days away. I'm Robbie Reynold here at the Arizona Nordic Village in Flagstaff, Arizona, getting ready for those opening ceremonies.
Father-in-law, Dave Craig. Yes.
And I do not have a father-in-law, so we will not be seeing any pictures from Robbie Reynold today of his father-in-law, who does not exist. The winners get invited to the White House. Jill Biden made a comment that she wanted to also invite the losing team, Iowa, and people are like, what? Yeah. What's even the point when, you know, the winners go to the White House?
We interrupt this program with breaking news from News 4 Tucson.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Robbie Reynold. Thanks for joining us for our special report here. There is a procession about to start for a fallen officer. Lead Officer Adam Buckner, who was just 31 years old, was killed in an accident on Sunday night. Today, the procession will begin at the Officer of the Medical Examiner and end at Carrillo's Tucson Mortuary. It's about a 16-minute drive, and we have live team coverage on this story. We're going to go ahead and start with our very own Connor McGill. He's going to be at the medical examiner's office where this is all going to start. We also have our very own Lupita Murillo will be at the mortuary. We're going to go ahead and go live first with Connor. And Connor, why don't you tell us what you're seeing at the moment right now?
Well, good.
Connor, thank you so much. And yes, we will let you know the minute that procession gets started as well. And again, so great to see all the support for Officer Adam Buckner. We're going to dive into his background a little more, but he actually had only been with the department for roughly 3 years, and to see that kind of camaraderie already coming together for him, just really amazing. All right, let's talk a little bit more about the crash that happened in here. The collision happened, it was at East 6th Street and Campbell Avenue, happened just before 10 p.m. again on Sunday night. Now, in a news conference yesterday, Police Chief Chad Kazmar said Lead Officer Adam Buckner was headed to a call with emergency lights and his siren on. He was going through the green light at the intersection at 6 when a single occupied vehicle failed to yield the right-of-way while making a turn. The officer was thrown from his vehicle during that crash, and Chief Kazmar says officers attempted to save his life at the scene. Tucson Fire also got there to help transport him. He was taken to Banner UMC. Despite all that effort, though, he did not survive his injuries. Unfortunately, he passed away at the hospital. Now, Officer Buckner was only 31 years old. He leaves behind a wife and an entire team at the Tucson Police Department that is going to miss him very dearly. Let's go ahead and turn things over to News 4 Tucson's Lupita Murillo. She is right now at Carrillo's Mortuary, where this is going to end. Lupita, tell us a little bit about what you're seeing there. And very emotional situation for here. And we're going to go out to another live shot here of the procession, give you a little update on where that procession is at right now. Looks like the procession is moving through, not sure exactly where this is, but it looks like at least the beginning of the procession is moving through this area. This is near I-10 and Granada. I-10 and Granada is where they're moving through right now. Looks like those officers are the first officers to get there and just making sure that everything's cleared out so that the procession can move through smoothly at this point. So they should be coming through any second right now. Back to Amara, I do want to read real quick before the cars come what she said. She says, the loss of a police officer is tragic. It is a loss shared by the family and the members of the Tucson Police Department in particular. Yet it is one we all share. To the parents, wife, and family of Officer Buckner, you have our love and support to help you through this difficult time. So, again, Mayor Romero offering her support there. And it looks like the beginning of the procession is moving through here, I-10 and Granada, as they're just about to come through. Should be pretty close to the mortuary at this point as well. Our photographer there, Edgar Ibarra. Edgar Ibarra, one of the best in the business, giving us just kind of a full look there at the situation. Very nice day weather-wise, so it shouldn't be any rain or anything coming through. And here is the start of the procession coming our way. The initial officers, those are motorcycle officers there, usually the ones leading the procession, again, to make sure that there's nothing in the way as officers are moving through the road, and so the procession can move through smoothly here. So here we go. We're seeing the procession moving through. The officers on motorcycles are going as well. And I believe the car they're focusing on there as well is being transported. And look at all that right behind you. Look at all those vehicles moving through at the same time. Really wonderful to see. And there's a great view right there. That is just an excellent view. Look at all those people standing on the sidewalk showing their support. All those police officers, you see their cars right there, sirens turned on, as is tradition for the procession like this, and they're all standing by to show their support, show their, to honor the life of Officer Adam Buckner. So tragic when an officer dies in the line of duty like Officer Buckner did. And it's something that really moves every single police department, every single police officer in the department is always moved by this. And so they always want to come out and show their support. And it's wonderful to see all those cars moving in unison. Again, folks, if you're just joining us, this is a special report of the funeral procession for Officer Adam Buckner. Adam Buckner died tragically in a crash on Sunday night. And this is a live look here at the funeral procession. Our very own Lupita Murillo is live right now at the mortuary where Officer Buckner is being brought at the end of this procession. And she has an update for us right now. Lupita.
I can tell you that the motor units are...
Hey, Lupita, I'm watching this out there. Lupita, you see all the sheriff's deputies' car. Obviously, you have covered this community for so long. Can you talk about their relationship and how it's illustrated by all the sheriff's deputies' car also out involved in this procession?
Well, the Sheriff's Department and the Tucson Police Department work hand in hand, and it still affects them because he's a brother in blue.
That's right, Lupita, and you know, Chief Chad Kazmar, he's a relatively new police chief here, and this is kind of a big challenge for him. What have you noticed from him as he's kind of facing this really new territory for him?
You know, I have to tell you that my heart goes out to him, watching him struggle through what he had to say at yesterday's news conference.
Well, Lupita, can you tell me a little bit about kind of how you're feeling right now? You've covered so many of these, unfortunately, before, and this has all happened so fast. We're talking Sunday night this crash happened. Now here we are Tuesday morning going through this procession. What's it been like for you to report on this and just look at all this unfold?
It's you know, it's kind of like, I don't want to compare it to a police department, you know, it's heartbreaking to see them, and it's very, very emotional.
I understand, Lupita, and thank you so much for, of course, bringing all this to us and taking a look at everyone. Taking a look at we walk as everyone walking in now. So, Lupita, thank you so much for that reporting coverage. It looks like they're kind of wrapping up the situation here. Looks like Officer Buckner is either been taken in already or is being taken in. So we are going to actually wrap up our coverage here as well, but we're not completely wrapping up because, folks, it is 10:32 right now. In just under 90 minutes, we're going to have a new newscast to bring you all the latest as well. So please do come and follow us. Do come for that new newscast. We'll have the updates on that. Stay with us on our social media pages and and KVOA.com. Our website will have all the updates there as well. Thank you so much for joining us here for the special report. Again, stay with us here at KVOA.com. It's going to be a tragic but big day for us here in the Tucson community, and we don't want you to miss a second of it. Thank you so much for joining us. Plus, a massive weather maker taking more than one part of the world by storm, how Hurricane Beryl could affect us here in the U.S.
News for Tucson. This is Tucson Today.
Well, good Friday morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Robbie Reynold.
I'm Saida Abbas.
It's 6 o'clock right now. It's time for traffic and weather together with Storm Tracker 4 meteorologist T. Cortez.
The Storm Tracker 4 threat tracker high this morning. What are the watches and warnings you have for us?
Oh, we have got heat.
Everyone is at a higher risk of getting sick from the heat.
The Arizona Department of Health has tips to keep you and your family safe, though. They say drink plenty of water, avoid alcohol and drinks with high caffeine or sugar, limit your outdoor activity to when it's coolest, like morning and evening hours. Never leave children or pets alone in a parked car, and limit sun exposure. Use plenty of sunscreen and wear sunglasses and hats. Well, beyond the heat here in southern Arizona, Hurricane Beryl is moving across the Yucatan Peninsula. Forecasters say it could slam into southern Texas or northern Mexico in the coming days.
Other U.S. states also could see impacts from Beryl this holiday weekend. Amy Kiley reports on how it's affecting U.S. weather and vice versa.
A Tucson woman and business owner are being forced to hunker down off the coast of Mexico because of Hurricane Beryl. Maudie Schultz is the owner of Wild Garlic Grill. She's been at Playa del Carmen Resort for 2.5 days now after flights to leave have been canceled. She says people there are stressed and scrambling to prepare for the hurricane. We spoke to her last night about her fears regarding the dangerous hurricane. Border Patrol says an unidentified suspect threw a large rock at one of their agents driving a patrol truck near Douglas. This is a picture posted on Border Patrol's X account of the damage done to the truck's windshield. Border Patrol says the agent was patrolling the Douglas-Mexico border when somebody on the Mexican side of that border threw the rock, hitting the truck. Luckily, the agent was not hurt, but the suspect has not been arrested. They go on to say this is just one example of the dangers that agents face and that smugglers will do anything to disrupt border security. President Biden continues to face pressure after his showing at the first presidential debate with Donald Trump, and now he hopes to salvage his bid for another term by asking voters to focus on his 3.5 years of accomplishment as opposed to just one night.
Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump remains on the attack. NBC's Bree Jackson has the latest from Washington.
Coming up now, the Arizona Diamondback will start in the All-Star game this year. Find out who it is.
Current and future FBI agents have to maintain strong fitness, right? And to make sure all their employees are keeping up, state offices put those agents through a fitness exam every single year.
Yeah, I don't think it was an easy one.
No.
The
no,
FBI offices in Phoenix and Tucson invited members of the media to try this test out for themselves to see what it takes to be an agent. And Tucson Today anchor Robbie Reynold answered the call.
The FBI fitness test has 4 phases: a 1-minute sit-up test, a 300-yard sprint, a push-up test, and a 1.5-mile run. Applicants only get 5 minutes of rest between each exercise. Those are the exact rules for me. Let's see if I have what it takes.
And begin. Because we investigate and we handle all sorts of matters dealing with national security, criminal nature, stuff like that. So it does require us to be, physical, where we may actually have to chase someone down. We actually may have to put hands on somebody.
I think the hardest part is putting everything together. I think at first you're like, oh, 5 minutes is a really long time, and then you do a sprint and you're like, wow, 5 minutes, I didn't recover at all.
Great job, Robbie. You're going to be just doing that last lap. 10:25. Great job. You have an overall 11 points. And then for anybody right now going through the academy starting next week, they would have to get 9 points in order to kind of advance into the process. And so by your 11 points, you'd be a shoo-in. So, yeah.
All FBI agents have to be able to pass this test once a year, no matter their experience level. Agents tell me physical fitness is critical to their success. Robbie Reynold, News 4 Tucson.
And if you are interested in joining the FBI, this is the same test you will need to pass. Here are Robbie's scores to give you an idea of how those points are totaled.
And Robbie is a competitive triathlete, and he did well in the running events, which gave him that passing score. However, apparently Robbie needs to hit the gym and work on that upper body strength. He got 0 points for push-ups, only 21. Come on, Robbie.
Looked like those push-ups weren't bad either.
Yeah, well, he's got a fallback, you know?
Looks,
Be an FBI agent.
That's true.
Coming up.
The Winter Olympics are officially underway. It's time for us here at Tucson Today to give winter sports the old college try. For my co-anchor Robbie Reynold, that meant heading north to find a hidden gem in Arizona.
I'm Robbie Reynold for Tucson Today. Go to the Winter Olympics. I'm here at the Arizona Nordic Center in Flagstaff, Arizona, where we're going to learn all about cross-country skiing.
There's a lot of different ways to do it. Like you're always trying to find the way that's going to be the most effective. You know, like you're tailoring your lesson to like who folks are and what they need at a specific time.
Nordic skiing is the use of skis to quickly navigate snowy terrain. It's been an Olympic sport since the first Winter Games in 1924. Despite Arizona's hot weather and mostly desert environment, the employees of the Arizona Nordic Center work to create skiable trails.
The ski community is unique here because of the fact that this is where you get to ski in like this whole section, like Arizona, the lower section of Utah. So we're the closest skiing for like many miles.
There are two types of cross-country skiing you'll see at the Olympics, classic and skate. There's no lifts in this sport. You have to go uphill and downhill.
You do have to be in good shape. It's a great workout. I think that's one of my favorite things too. I just think that it's a really unique way to like get further into the trees and like get out into the backcountry.
The Beijing Games will feature races at various distances, relays, and the sport of biathlon, which combines skiing with rifle shooting.
It's got some pretty great things, and like watching skate skiing, people going fast, and it's great. It's really fun.
For Tucson Today Goes to the Olympics, I'm Robbie Reynold. News 4 Tucson.
Robbie, I must say, you chopping that wood.
That was great, right?
That was my favorite part.
Yeah.
I knew that was going to be your guys' favorite part. I want to thank the Arizona Nordic Village. They hosted me. It was tons of fun. Got to meet everybody out there. So it was a blast, yeah, and it was fun because, you know, we don't have a lot of snow here in Tucson, if we ever get any at all. So moving up there to see some snow was great to take a little trip out there. So thanks again. It was a lot of fun to do that.
Well, it's one of those things where it looks really easy, but I'm sure it is very, very difficult to do, especially going uphill. I can't imagine having
And
to do that.
you filmed this yourself. Let's point that out.
Yeah,
That's
I did this all myself. It was
impressive.
just me in a cabin up there in Flagstaff doing all this. And yeah, I saw the wood with the axe there, and I just couldn't resist. So that was my first attempt at the wood. And once I realized it wasn't going to work, I was like, I got my shot. That's good.
I'm glad that you didn't take down the camera when you were moving around.
All right, today's show is coming up next. We'll be back here tomorrow at 4:30. Have a great and